Hi, I'm going to explain why I've created This Is Not Propaganda. I'll use an example of a story that was published on InfoWars and a couple of other websites like that. It's actually the same story. Now, it was actually published about a month ago, but it highlights exactly why I want to do this. On this story, you have the headline which reads something like, BBC finally admits Ukrainian protests were led by neo-Nazis. Now, the report that they're talking about, which was broadcast on Newsnight back at the end of February, what it actually says is the people who brought down the government were overwhelmingly ordinary Ukrainians, students, doctors, workers, and even families. People who simply refused to back down. But the most organised and perhaps the most effective were a small number of far-right groups. They then go on to interview a guy who's a member of a far-right group, and his group contains 200 men. Like not even 2,000, 200 men. These are not the views of the majority. Unstable situations like this open the door for extremist groups, and they always have done. And things like this get a lot of coverage because they're terrifying, and also because these groups shout the loudest, but they do not represent the reality. That's not why these protests started, and it's not what Euromaidan is about. I need to be really, really clear. I detest Nazi values, and I wouldn't be doing this for a country that was full of neo-Nazis. I've spent time in the Ukraine, and everybody that I've met there has been open and kind. I didn't meet one person who held extreme right-wing views. Now, I'm not saying these people don't exist, because of course they do, but they exist everywhere. The fact that there are far-right political groups in Britain doesn't make Britain a neo-Nazi country, and it's no different for the Ukraine. So that's what This Is Not Propaganda is for, to give access to real views from the overwhelming majority of Ukrainians. It's so important that something like this, the views of this minority, are not portrayed in such a way that it paints a very awful and very untrue picture of the real situation. I ask you to listen to and to read the stories of the people on this website, because that's the only way that we're going to get a true and balanced view of what's really happening, and without an angle from every media source who each has their own agenda and can be quite self-serving. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.